So what feels important for you today?
Well, I wanted to work on a certain feeling that I noticed that I had in the background. That at first, I wouldn't have even known that it was there, and I realized that it's a very pervasive and strong feeling, and it came from having to deal with back pain, and then I was doing like the Sarno method. The Sarno method is like he has a belief that certain types of tensions or feelings, especially painful ones, if you don't express them or don't become aware of them, they manifest in physical pain. And he went through this terrible bout of back pain, and having tried a lot of different things to make it better, I was pretty desperate. And so, even though I knew about Sarner for a long time and thought I understood it like in a theoretical sense, when I actually asked myself when I was experiencing this back pain, like, what did it represent? And I was really surprised to pick up like something totally new. Usually, like Sarno talks always about like this kind of repressed anger that people have, and I might have that, but that's not what came up, and it's not what comes up consistently. What came up consistently is actually not just a feeling of fear, but a feeling of terror, and that the pain, the back pain, and that just matched up because the more that I allowed myself to notice that I felt this terror, true to what Sarno says, the back pain would go away, and then whenever the back pain would come up, um, I would allow myself to realize how much terror I'm feeling, and the back pain would go away. So it's very striking. And for others who've ever tried Sarno, like, wow, like as much as you can say, oh yeah, I get it, your tension is making your back hurt, forget it. Actually doing it and living it is something else. Like it was just very powerful, and it just continued to be a very important like armament, whatever, in the arsenal to deal with this back pain. But the thing is that I still really haven't focused on what the terror really is about, although I have theories. And so I wanted to work on that because I realize I'm feeling it almost all the time, which sounds crazy. How could I have not realized that I'm feeling this fear all the time? And yet until I did the sauna thing, I had no idea that I was feeling this feeling all the time. And yes, I'm feeling it.
That's incredible. So you want to work on the terror part today?
Yes, because it might be a good way to have a more longer term, letting go of it instead of just sorrowing it away.
Okay. So why don't you go inside and feel where the terror part resides in or around your body.
Okay. All right. Done that. See?
Sure.
In my stomach, right here, like underneath the rib cage.
Okay. And does it have a texture, a size, a color?
It's like red and green, and it's like a hard, like tense, material. Like a kind of like coral reef that like hardens, like the calcium kind of build up.
Like calcified.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So red and green calcified blob.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be, maybe like an interesting gem, but it's not. So
yeah.
It just represents this kind of hardness and pain.
Okay. And how do you feel towards this part of yourself?
Well, not particularly friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. You want to get rid of it? Not friendly. Okay. And where's the part of you that feels unfriendly and wants to get rid of it?
Where's it located in my body?
Yeah, in or around your body.
Standing over my left shoulder.
Okay. and ask it, the part that's standing over your left shoulder, how is it trying to help? What is it doing?
Wait, you mean the part of my left shoulder should ask the
No, you
the
ask
part?
it.
I
Ask
whom?
that part
Which part?
over your left shoulder, the part
Yes.
that's unfriendly towards the
Yes.
terror.
Okay. What's it trying to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
what's its job?
Okay. Okay.
How is it taking in your question?
It's fine with the question.
Okay, does it have an answer?
Sure.
Okay.
Is it obvious that I'm trying to get rid of this other, like, hard, like, painful part?
Yeah,
Trying
and
to get
ask
rid of
it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's trying to get rid of it.
It's trying to get rid of it. And how does it do that?
Well, it just kind of pushes and gets angry.
It pushes and gets angry.
Yeah.
And ask it, how long has it been doing this job?
A long time. As long as I've had that feeling, which feels like really long time.
Yeah. So ask the part, how long has it been doing this job? Of trying to get rid of the terror.
40 years.
40 years. Mm-hmm. It's a long time.
Yeah.
And see if it could tell you the story of how it got to be there, to be doing this job.
You know, something interesting came up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because it's highly personal, but in my mind, my whole theory was one thing, you know, where the terror was coming from. And this part, you know, situating itself about 40 years ago, because we were around 15 or 16, this part is saying now something more like from high school. So I don't know what to do, because my personal theory is, you know, it was much earlier, but this is what's coming up.
Okay. So you want to have a conversation with the part and see.
Well, that's a good idea.
What
Okay.
needs to be addressed first.
I like that. I like that. Okay. We agreed that the parts have access to wisdom that I don't have. So even though whatever I think it is, and I can talk about that too, we agreed that the parts go first, because what I know I can even do outside of a session in theory, but what I was becoming made aware of, it's new material, so we're gonna roll with it. We both agree on that.
So the part that's over your shoulder and you have agreed to see what happened in high school?
Right. Right.
Okay. So see who needs to be telling that story.
Well, the part can say it because it knows it more than I do. Then I'll decide what I want to say over it. It's very personal. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So you share only what you're comfortable with. In other words, say only out loud what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, it was a time, I think, of a lot of personal growth, but also really a lot of terror and a lot of discomfort. So many different things were going on. It was not. It was a very hard time for me. There was a lot of personal challenges in my family, and physical illness. Many things going on. Not good. It was not good. Probably there was nothing really secure or stable about that time. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you feel okay with going to that high school kid, that younger self, and spending some time with him and see if he wants to talk to you about all that stuff that went on. If you both feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, we're good. We're there.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and find that younger self in high school, see where he's at. Is he at home? Is he in school?
He's in school.
Mm-hmm. And how old is he?
I think 15.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel towards him when you look at him in school?
I feel kind of sad.
Yeah. Where's that sad part?
In my body?
Mm-hmm.
Also in that tight spot in my chest.
In your chest.
And I guess it's because it's also really like a terror too.
It's terror.
Yeah, I feel that. There's a lot of insecurity. Wow. Really a lot. More than I realized.
See if the sad part needs to talk now, or can it give you some space to encounter your 15-year-old self?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
See if the sad part needs to talk right now about itself, or can it give you some space to encounter your 15-year-old self?
Go with the space.
So ask the sad part if it could give you that space
It'll do
to
that.
spend time with the 15-year-old. Okay. And let the sadness know that it's really important that at any time, if it needs to express itself, it should let you know. Okay, so turn towards your 15-year-old self. And how do you feel towards him now?
I also feel sad. Sad, a little bit. Worried for him.
Worried for him? Mm-hmm. And is the worry different than the sad?
I think so,
Yeah. Where's the worry part?
Same place though.
Yeah. So check to see if the worry part needs to talk, or if it also would give you space.
No, the worry wants to talk.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to hear what the worry has to say?
Of course.
Well, the worry just is saying that there's so much that was not secure there. Just so much that nothing in life was stable at all. It was extremely trying, physically and emotionally. Just
And ask your part, how long has it been doing this worrying?
well, since then, there's tremendous, there's physical illness in my family. My father was still not well. I was not well with another medical syndrome that was very serious too. Suffering from it, really suffering. And then the high school was really difficult, not a good environment for me, not a place that I was getting what I could have gotten. So it was just very bleak and uncomfortable. And nothing really felt very secure.
I'm wondering if the medical part, the body that suffered so much, needs some attention.
I think it needs a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I think my father went through incredible physical trauma from a near deadly car accident when I was in ninth grade, and he still, the rest of his life, he suffered. This was only 2 years later. He was barely uh, starting to walk and rehabilitated. This is 2 years later. He really gone through tremendous physical anguish, and then because I had some other, which I don't really need to disclose right now, but some other physical disease that was also systemic and problematic with many parts of the body. I guess just the whole idea, I never realized it before, the whole idea of physical health. It's funny, like I'm not one of these crazy, anxious about your health, hypochondriac people at all. Like in everyday life, that I've never been limited, even, when I've had days where I've had to suffer from terrible illness, like I usually just work right through it. Like I've never really been sick, in a major way, save for here and there, terrible virus or something, but never really been sick. Never really had to take off, even though there are days with, but I was quite diseased actually.
So perhaps the disease part needs to talk.
Yeah, because like I said, I never was. It's funny, I never let it affect my performance. There was nothing. I mean, I couldn't be that athletic, big deal there, but it never let it affect any, any real physical performance, even like not athletic personal exercise. I've always pushed right through it, do what I needed to do. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I realized that my father was obviously a very important person to me, and even myself, my body was under tremendous physical assault systemically. My father went through an external trauma, being mowed down by a hit-and-run driver, while I had, like not emotional, physiological, metabolic, whatever you want to call it, real issues that were attacking my body really badly. I think I've always, even though it's funny, like I said, I never let any of this stop me anyway.
Yeah.
It must be the terror of it still. I mean, it's crazy for a teenager to have to deal with such physical issues with their body. It was never terminal, like it wasn't like a cancer, but it was something so bad that it was quite draining, debilitating. I don't know how I did it actually.
So Simcha, I want you to go back inside.
Okay.
And find the disease part.
Okay.
See where you can sense it.
It's also on the chest. It's hard to explain. It's a little more spread out, a little more like on the surface. Like the other ones are like these deep hard rocks. You know what I'm saying? And this is more like a thin, like sheet of something. Still not man-made. Still like a piece of slate or something like that. But thinner and more on the top and broader. But it's over there still.
Yeah. And how do you feel towards that disease part?
Well, I think it reminds me of like scar tissue. Like a part of the skin goes through a lot, right? It gets hardened or a little bit like different. Like it's like scar tissue from having endured. Mm-hmm. Like all of that, but it's also a fear. It's a really strong terror.
Yes,
it's not.
Would you like to ask the disease part if it wants to share about its experience in your body?
Sure.
So see if the disease part would be willing to unblend from your chest and sit somewhere nearby where you can interact with it better.
Okay.
Is it willing?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for being willing.
Okay.
And see if the disease part does it want to share with you? What does it want to tell you that maybe you don't know?
I don't know if I don't know, but I guess I didn't know it. It really needs to be heard. Like how hard it was, because I really didn't have any support.
Yeah. So let it talk. And you're going to give it support. Because that was your younger self
Okay.
that didn't have support. So
I'm doing that.
yeah.
Yeah, want me to do that internal or external?
However feels right for you.
Internal. It was a really hard and lonely job because a teenager really can't be vulnerable or share, even with peers. You know, anything is like heavy duty as a serious disease, let alone the amount of days where just carrying through the everyday like burdens of studying and like high school was just incredibly painful and fatiguing. I would fall asleep. At the end of the day, I'd have to like fall asleep for 2 hours just to be able to come back and because we also had evening classes, you know, just to be able to come back. We'd pass out like for 2 hours. You know, every now and then when I would ask for some kind of accommodation. Most of the time, the administration would look at it like I was some kind of faker or some kind of hypochondriac. Actually, I was struggling to just, oh my gosh, just having the energy to go back and do, and you know, complete the studies or stay up and study for a test or anything. It was just so lonely. Oh my gosh, so much pain, physical pain. Crazy. It was just really crazy. There's no way out. You're that young, you're just stupid. So you don't think you have an option other than just to go along. It's like being on some kind of excuse of cultural appropriation, being on some kind of death march. Like you don't know any better, so you just keep marching. Crazy. I can't believe I put up with that. Holy cow. Walking a mile and a half, 2 miles to the bus. So all kinds of crazy stuff. Like today, oh my gosh, kids would get like accessorized or something. You get homeschooled. That's unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, that was just really, really bad. Really bad.
Okay. So now turn your attention back to your 15-year-old self. And how do you feel towards him now?
A little less anxious, a little less distressed. Obviously, you know, it's the feeling is still there.
And where is he located exactly in school?
In a side room, as much as possible, I try to avoid and take quiet time. I didn't skip classes. I was too relatively well behaved and compliant not to skip classes, but because I was in so much pain most of the time, any time I could take a few minutes to close my eyes and just kind of like meditate and try to find a way to like rebalance, because it was like just everything was incredibly draining, just everything.
Yeah.
So I would take as much private time as I could take, a lot of private time, you know, lunchtime. Sometimes, yeah, you know, if there'd be a few minutes in between periods, I would just go to a quiet room and just be by myself. I couldn't bear it. It's too much.
So I want you to approach him and introduce yourself. Let him know that you are his grown-up self.
Yeah. It's done.
Okay. And how is he receiving that introduction?
Never would have guessed in a billion years. He ran over to give me a hug.
Oh,
That's how desperate and how alone. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. I had no idea how alone I really felt. Wow.
see if he wants to share more with you.
Well, it was just a very pleasant, exchange. So that was very good.
Ask him if there's something you can do for him to help him out right now.
There's nothing left in the chest. Just completely melted away.
Okay. So ask him if he wants to get rid of any of the bad stuff, unburden it to any of the elements: earth, water, fire.
It feels like you're just letting it flow out the windows. All of those windows in high school were so crappy. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to go into that. Middle of the winter, half of them are broken or leaking air. It's unbelievable the kind of stuff in the old days they got away with treating kids. But anyway, yeah, it's flowing out the window.
Okay. And ask him if in the place of all that bad stuff, he wants to bring in any positive qualities of self-leadership, like calm, confidence, connectedness, creativity.
Well, those all sound good. Okay. Well, we'll take them all. It's a big comfort that I can tell him, that you made it through all of that. That you really did. Well, wants to know, of course, if I was disease free, and I can't give it such a rosy picture, but I am telling him that most of the time. Most of the time the disease doesn't bother. Once in a while it does get bad, but it's a good life overall.
Ask him what he'd like to do now, because he doesn't have to be in that side room in the school anymore. He could actually be with you.
Yeah.
Ask him if he wants to get out of there.
Yes, it's high school.
So you could take him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And ask him what he wants to be doing right now.
It's just relaxing, going for a walk in the park. Yeah, that's good.
So he's good now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's check back in to the terror in your stomach. The green and red.
Mm-hmm.
Calcified.
It's so much better. First of all, it's not green and red. It's like this good old white, like a seashell.
Oh, it turned colors.
And it's much smaller.
Uh-huh.
Very small. But it's there and it's like this white, like kind of seashell,
Okay.
like a clam, because you gotta clam up,
And see what it's doing there. Ask it to share about itself.
Well, it says that there's still some things that have to be protected and bottled up.
Yeah. And check with your whole system to see if there's any part of that that's bottled up that needs to come out today, that you feel comfortable doing.
This is not an easy one either. Okay, I'll have to decide how much to share and how much not to share. But yes, there is more that could come out today.
Okay. So you take your time. Be respectful of the things that cannot be shared today.
Yeah, but they can be shared with me. I'm just saying I
Sure.
can't say them out loud.
Right.
Yeah, there's a very clear agenda. I mean,
Okay.
where do you want me to go with it? We're all in agreement on the inside here what this is about.
So see that part that's left, that calcified seashell part?
Mm-hmm.
What is it doing there? How is it trying to help you right now?
Well, these things cannot be said. If they're said, they'll be very strong.
Okay, so what?
Very strong.
What would
social ostracism?
Okay, I'm thinking that if it can't be said out loud, perhaps we can do some EMDR on the whatever target needs to be addressed right now. So this way you don't have to say things out loud, but you could be processing whatever it is that needs to be processed.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I like the idea. First of all, still the fear is very predominant, the fear and the terror. So you can do the EMDR without labeling, exactly.
I'm just gonna ask you, what is the negative belief that is overriding on this issue?
Oh, I see.
And you don't need to tell me the content.
Okay, that's
But
cool.
do you feel comfortable telling me the negative belief?
Yeah, but there may be a few. We can go through them one by one.
Sure.
Okay.
So let's start with what feels most important for now.
You will be punished for saying certain things. You will be. It's not belief, it's fact. But it's okay if I'm less reactive to it. That's good.
The negative belief is that you will be punished.
Yeah, if you say or express certain things.
And you're saying that's a fact.
Oh yeah, that's a reality.
So if that's a reality, then we don't want to change that. We don't want to change the reality, right? We want to work with something that is not reality. It's a belief about yourself, a faulty belief.
Okay, but I don't want to express this one out loud. But I
Okay.
can keep it in mind if you tell me that's good enough.
Sure. And what is the positive belief that you would like to have about yourself? See what that is, and if you want to say that out loud.
Well, one would reveal the other, so I'll just keep both private.
Okay.
But yes, I have a very good opposite.
And I want you to think about the image that best represents what's disturbing to you right now.
Oh, okay, I got that.
You got that?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you have a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And where do you feel that in your body?
In my center.
Okay. And the emotion is fear and terror? Or is there other stuff?
Mostly fear and terror.
Okay. So I'm going to hand you the pulsers.
Okay.
And the headphones.
Alrighty.
And I'm going to use my phone for the app
Okay.
to turn everything on.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me if you hear the music.
Yes.
And the light bar, can you look at the light bar?
Mm-hmm.
What's that like for you? Is that comfortable?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
It feels okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the music? It's not too loud.
Perfect.
Okay. So now I want you to think of the image that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Hold that together with the negative belief. And notice your body and your emotions. And look at the light bar. Okay, take a deep breath. And what do you notice? And if it's something you can't share, that's okay.
First I was blank, then I feel a little bit of the fear.
Okay. And how distressing does it feel to you? 0 to 10. 10 is the most distressing possible, and 0 is neutral.
6.
Okay. So notice the 6.
Mm-hmm.
And come back to the negative belief, the image, and your body and the emotions. Okay, take a deep breath. And what do you get now?
Same feeling, like terror and fear. Maybe a 4, let's say.
Okay. And the positive belief that you set up in your mind, on a scale of 1 to 7, how true does it feel? 7 is completely true, 1 is completely false.
2.
So not very true. Okay. So come back to the image.
Which one?
The original image.
Mm-hmm.
Notice your body and your emotions. Okay, take a deep breath. And what do you get now?
It's like a 1 or a 2.
And coming back to the positive belief, how true does it feel to you? 1 to 7. 7 is completely true, 1 is completely false.
The same.
So the level of distress has gone down to a 2, so not very distressing, but the positive belief has not changed.
Well, I wasn't really dwelling on the positive belief, so focusing on the negative belief.
Right.
I'm supposed to keep both in mind at the same time?
No. Generally, when the level of distress of the target goes down, the positive belief gets stronger.
Oh.
The positive belief that you want to have. Sometimes the positive belief ends up not being a perfect match, so you might need to change it.
It also might be my own preconceived notion of fearing, because I thought we were going to do EMDR and the positive belief, so I've been holding that in abeyance. In my mind, I was thinking, we'll deal with the positive belief later.
Okay, and it's a little challenging for me. It's totally fine, but it's a little challenging because I don't know what the negative belief is or the positive belief or the image or I don't know any of the details. So you're doing all of this by yourself. In a way, you're alone. So without any guidance.
So I think I didn't know, so to speak, I didn't have permission to let the positive belief grow.
Yes, you have permission. So
I think we might have an opportunity.
Come back to the image and just notice your body and your emotions.
Okay.
You don't need to focus on the positive belief. Just
got it. It was more like I just needed to know that I could let that go.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And take a deep breath. And what do you notice now?
Definitely the overall, like the feeling of terror is lower. It's not completely gone. There's other beliefs. It's also better. It goes to like a 2. I don't really have the positive opposite like belief. See, the part of it is I don't know how this interacts with your the EMDR. Part of it is that intellectually, like everything that was positive actually came true, and everything that I feared did not come true. It's like at this point in my life, in other words, how I felt then and the leftover feelings that I have are about a reality that's not even true now. Even a reality that I don't even think is true. Like I feel the positive cognition of certain stuff, but I felt the positive cognition going in. But the emotion, like, generated by the negative cognition from then is still very powerful.
It's still very powerful.
So. It's less so. It's definitely less. It said it went down to a 2, maybe sometimes a little stronger, and the knot in the stomach is tighter and more focused. But in a certain way, I'm just saying, it's hard for me to focus. I'm focusing on a feeling that I had then that still stays with me now, even though intellectually it doesn't feel like it's with me now. If that makes any sense.
I'm wondering if there's an intellectual part that's interfering here in this process.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's...
Because that's my defensive choice always.
Okay.
Okay.
So why don't we pay some attention to the intellectual part? And we can do that with bilateral stimulation or without, however feels right for you.
Okay. What do you think?
What do you prefer?
Let's just talk it out.
Okay, so if you want to take a break from the headphones, you can take it off.
Okay.
Okay. So go inside and find the intellectual part.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And where is it?
Right over here.
Okay.
Right side.
And how do you feel towards it?
Relatively positively disposed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. And ask it if it would be willing to unblend from your side and sit somewhere nearby where you can interact with it better.
Okay, it's willing to do that.
And is there a tired part that's coming up?
Not so much. I think it's just tired. Yeah.
Okay. So the intellectual part was willing to unblend.
Mm-hmm.
So thank it for being willing.
Okay.
And ask it, how is it trying to help you?
Well, it has to be on top of things. Think ahead, plan ahead. See things coming. Seek alternatives. Yeah.
And how long has it been doing this job?
Also a nice long time.
And ask it how old it thinks you are right now.
Well, who thinks who?
The intellectual part.
How old it thinks I am?
Yeah.
What an interesting question. My age. What do you mean?
It knows your age? Okay. Ask it if it would be willing to step back and give you some space to do this little EMDR piece with the content that you don't want to say out loud.
I was a little scared to do that, but
Yes.
it's going to try.
Okay. Does it want to say more about what's scary about that?
just has a very strong belief that you have to keep holding on. You have to keep.
So ask it, what is it
plan.
worried about? What might happen if it didn't do its job for this session?
I'll say the wrong thing. I'll do the wrong thing.
Okay, we only have about 10 minutes left. So see if it's willing to...
Oh, that's fair. Okay, for 10 minutes it's willing. You gave it some kind of concrete boundary. Good deal with that.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So for 10 minutes it's willing to give you space to just work with what's happening inside.
So we're going to go into the negative belief with the whole bilateral thing. Okay, go for it.
All right. So I want you to come back to the image that was disturbing, that is together with the negative belief.
We're ready.
And just see what happens in your body. Just notice your thoughts and your emotions. If any memories come up, just notice what happens. And you could share if you want to, and don't have to share if you don't want to. Okay? So you can watch the light bar. Hold the image and the negative belief. So you can watch the light bar if you want. Okay, take a deep breath. And what do you get now?
Negative beliefs at a 1. Positive is at a 3 or 4.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay, so just notice that. Come back to the image. Okay, take a deep breath. And what do you get now?
Negative beliefs maybe like the knot in the stomach is, they got a 0.5 point. It's pretty loose. It's pretty gone. Positive belief is
1 to 7. 7 is completely true. 1 is completely false.
also, it feels like a 3 or 4.
Okay. And what's keeping it at a 3 or 4? Like, what would need to happen for it to get to a 7?
I really feel like I need more experiences in life. It doesn't feel like it's a discrete thing. Like it's a thing I have to try to live it out and see what happens.
Like, try out new experiences to see, to try it on for size?
Yeah, like see if I could occupy that space of feeling that way.
Okay, notice that.
So what am I now holding on to? It's the original image still?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
think about the positive belief now, if you want to. Okay, take a deep breath. And what do you notice?
Confidence, good feeling, positive feelings, like at a 5.
Okay, so stay with that. Okay, take a deep breath. And what do you get now?
Negative belief is still a little bit there. Positive belief is a solid 5.
Okay.
This feels good.
Okay. So let's just stay with it.
Mm-hmm. That was good. That was energizing.
Should we do
That's
more?
good. What?
Ready to do more?
Let's do it.
All right. What do you notice now?
I feel very good. Part of me is reluctant to just let go of it completely.
Yeah.
But, I feel like a 5 or 6 in terms of the positive cognition.
Does it feel like it could go higher?
I don't want to for some reason.
Okay, so maybe we need to work with that part, but we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
So I want you to notice, just acknowledge that there's a part that doesn't want it to get all better.
Yeah, I
Okay?
think that's true. It's
Yeah.
a really strange thing, but I
So
think that's
go
true.
inside and just find where that part is, and we're not going to work with it today, but just so want you to
Okay.
be familiar with it.
Okay, yeah, I got him.
Where's that part?
What?
Where's that part?
Sort of on the left side, below, like clinging really tight, like a squirrel,
Yeah.
holding onto a branch.
And see if it wants to say something real quick before we end. And we can pay attention to it at different
It's
times.
very afraid to live without like some familiar, like anchor. Like this would be like, this is a big anchor, a little fear, a little pain.
It's anger, fear, and pain.
Anchor. It's
Oh,
an
anchor. Anchor.
I mean,
It's an
fear and
anchor.
pain.
To have the fear and the pain.
I
Yes.
just want to let go of that. So
Yeah. So how would you like to respond to the part saying that?
I'm saying it makes sense. We'll talk about it later.
Yes.
We'll deal with that later.
Yes. Do you want to check in with your 15-year-old self?
He's fine. He's good.
Okay.
He's being 15, which he didn't get a chance to do.
And the terror part, 0 to 10. How's it now?
1 to 0 fluctuates. It's a fluctuating read.
Uh-huh.
There are things to be afraid of, today. Yeah.
Okay. And the positive belief is at you said 5 or 6?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So there's that part of you inside that wants to hold on to have that anchor,
Right.
to have that fear,
Yeah.
to hold on to it because it's
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So let's keep that in mind for another time.
Absolutely. To be continued.
Any last words?
No, thank you. This was very helpful. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Okay.